Hello and welcome to another of MATLAB Helpers illuminating lessons on stock market with MATLAB. So in this lesson we'll see how we can design the front end of the live stock market application. So as you can see on your screen, we have an application here. So this application has a few components. Let me just walk you through the components and then we'll discuss why we have used these particular components. So on the top of it, you'll see that we have this text area which is actually invisible. Okay, so this particular text area has been used so that the user cannot see the components which we have used in the background when the application opens for the first time. This is to ensure that that while data is being loaded, so what we'll be using here in the code is a file, an Excel file that contains the stock symbols for the Yahoo Finance website. Now we will be using that particular file so that the user can search a particular stock symbol and the list corresponding to matching results will be displayed down over here. So, and to load a file that big, it takes some time in MATLAB. So that's why what we've used here is a text area that covers the entire components. And when the data is loaded or has finished loading, this text area becomes invisible again and the background components become visible. So if I just remove this text area for the time being, what you will see is that we have a menu on the top, okay? And this menu has two components, one exit menu and one is options menu. Now within options, you can have any kind of option like companies, currencies, world indices and historical data. So I have not coded these particular menus, so you can code them accordingly. And within exit, we'll have the menu that allows us to close the application. Now let's begin our discussion on the other components in the UI figure. So here at the top, we have this search edit field. Now this is a text edit field where the user can actually enter some particular string value corresponding to the search he wants to, corresponding to the company's name that he wants to search. And this particular is a list box that will display the results that match the string that the user has entered here in the search tab. Now for this to, for the result to be displayed, the user needs to press enter after typing the string in the search edit field. Now we have used two buttons here on the right, fetch data button and stop button. Now this fetch data button will be used after the user has selected one company from the list displayed over here, and this is to ensure that only the data corresponding to the company the user wants is being fetched. Now the stop button is used to stop the fetching of real-time data. So once the user has pressed the fetch data button, the application will automatically keep updating the data after a certain time interval. To stop doing that, we can press the stop button over here. Now we have used a layered structure over here. So behind this list box, we have this table that will display the cost for commodities. On the left, we have the table for currencies, and on the right, we have the table for stock market indices. Now here in this table, we'll display the stock market data for the company that the user has searched in the search tab. And here we have an axis that will keep on updating itself, and it will show us the graph of the changing stock value for that particular company. So that is the basic overview of this particular layout. Now this is a layout that I have used, and you can make whatever changes you deem appropriate. Alright, so I have also named these components accordingly. So this particular edit field, if I just enlarge this current browser, you will see that I have named it search edit field, okay, and this list box is named search results. This button is named fetch data button. This is stop button. This table over here is a commodities table, and this is the results table. the data table. And here we have the currency table, and here we have the stock market table or stock table. And this is named stock axes. Now I have used individual panel, right? So I have used tables inside panels, and also over here I have the stock market indices, the table inside a panel. Similarly over here in commodities, I have the commodities inside the panel. So this panel ensures that our data or the components are placed inside fixed regions, and it becomes easier for us to enable or disable or make them invisible or visible whenever we need them to be. So now let's discuss as to why we have kept this particular list box on top of this column. Okay. So the reason for that is that we want to display the result of the search bar in this list box, right? So this list box should be displayed on top of this table. And if we have this behind this table, whenever this thing becomes visible, half of the portion of this particular list box will be hidden behind this particular table, and only a portion of it will be visible. So to avoid that, we'll make sure that this particular list box is on top of this table, so that whenever this list box becomes visible, the entire list box can be viewed by the user. And when the user has selected a particular option, this list box must be disabled immediately. It should be made invisible so that the current data can be seen by the user in all these tables. Alright, so we'll discuss about how we can code the visibility and invisibility of list boxes and the text area, which we removed a while ago, this text area, in the backend design section of our video. So this is all about the front end of the application. We'll talk more about the backend or the coding part of the application in the next lecture. Till then, it's bye-bye from me.